The topic of Social Security survivor benefits can be a little confusing. So in this video, I'll simplify how survivor benefits work and help you determine if you or a loved one may be eligible. We'll also look at a couple different planning scenarios that show how to effectively utilize survivor benefits depending on your situation. Most people are familiar with Social Security retirement benefits. These benefits are based on your working history, and you generally become eligible to receive these benefits when you reach age 62. Of course, you can delay benefits until age 70 in order to receive a higher monthly amount. Survivor benefits are similar in that they're monthly payments from Social Security, but instead of going to the worker, they're made to the family members of that deceased worker as long as the decedent earned enough Social Security credits during their lifetime. So the first thing to understand about Social Security survivor benefits is who qualifies. The simple answer is most widows and widowers and some children. But this is further broken down by specific situations. So let's dig into the details to understand if you're someone who may qualify, starting with widows and widowers. If you were married at the time of your spouse's passing, you'll be eligible when you reach age 60. This is the most common scenario. Additionally, you can be eligible as early as age 50 if you have a qualifying disability. Lastly, you can be eligible at any age if you're caring for a child of the person who passed away who is younger than 16 years old or who has a disability that began before the age of 22. Those rules specifically cover spouses who were married at the time of passing. So what about divorced spouses? Well, the same rules apply as long as your marriage lasted at least 10 years. The only time that the 10-year requirement doesn't matter for divorced spouses is if you're caring for a child younger than 16 or with a disability, and that child is yours and your former spouse's natural or adopted child. I also want to make it clear that anytime in this video that I talk about a divorced spouse, I'm solely talking about survivor benefits. All of these rules are going to be very different for divorced spouses who are still alive. These are known as Social Security family benefits and should not be confused with survivor benefits. Before we move on, let's address a few common questions. First, if I start survivorship benefits, can I switch to my own retirement benefit in the future? Yes, you can, and you can also start with your own retirement benefits first and then switch to survivorship benefits. Different situations call for different strategies. Question 2, will taking survivor benefits affect my own Social Security retirement benefit? No, it won't, but you'll want to be strategic with how you do this. I'll walk through some examples shortly. Question 3, if my spouse passed away and their former divorced spouse is receiving survivor benefits on their record, will that reduce my survivor benefits? Fortunately, survivor benefits paid to a divorced spouse do not affect payments to the late beneficiary's widow or widower. The same applies the other way around. Question 4, what if I remarry? Can I still receive survivor benefits from my late spouse? Usually, you cannot get survivor benefits if you remarry before age 60. But remarrying after age 60 won't prevent you from receiving your survivorship benefits on your former deceased spouse's record. Again, we're strictly talking about survivor benefits here. The rules around remarrying differ if your ex-spouse is still alive. In addition to spouses, the other most common individuals to be eligible for survivor benefits are going to be children. The requirements for children to receive survivor benefits are that they must be unmarried and younger than age 18 or up to 19 if they're still in high school. They're also eligible to receive benefits at any age if they have a disability that started before the age of 22. Now that we've discussed who's eligible, let's talk about the amount survivors are eligible to receive. The first term to understand is base benefit amount. The base benefit amount, like regular Social Security retirement, is going to be based on the earnings of the person who passed away. The more money they paid into Social Security, the higher their base benefit amount will be. Another factor that will impact the base benefit amount is whether or not your deceased spouse started receiving their own Social Security payments. If they started early and received a reduced Social Security payment, then the base amount used to determine your survivorship benefit will also be reduced. You can request this specific base benefit amount by contacting Social Security. But as far as whether you'll receive the full base amount or a reduced amount is going to primarily depend on your age as the survivor. In most cases, the earliest you can claim benefits is age 60, in which case you would receive 71.5% of the worker's basic benefit amount. Each year you wait, your benefit amount increases. For example, taking your survivor benefit at age 61 gets you around 75% of the base amount. Age 63 gets you around 80%, and age 65 gets you around 90%. Once you reach your full retirement age, you're entitled to 100% of the base benefit amount. This chart shows you an example. Let's say Social Security provided you an estimated base benefit amount of $2,000 a month. If you started receiving your benefits at the earliest age of 60, you'd receive a monthly benefit amount of $1,430, which is equivalent to 71.5% of the base amount. However, if you waited to start taking your survivor benefits until your full retirement age, assuming that's 67 for you, you would receive 100% of the base benefit amount, or $2,000. Unlike traditional Social Security retirement, you do not continue to receive an increased amount if you defer it past age 67. So it never makes sense to wait longer than 67 to claim survivor benefits. So let's look at some other important considerations. First, what if you're still working? Will this reduce your Social Security benefit amount? Yes, just like traditional Social Security retirement, if you earn above a certain amount, currently $23,400 in 2025, then your benefit will be reduced by 50% for every dollar you earn above that limit. For example, if you earn $25,000, this would be $1,600 above the $23,400 limit. So Social Security would withhold 50% of that, or $800. You would start to receive the full benefit amount in the future when your income drops or you reach full retirement age. Individuals who have reached full retirement age don't need to worry about a reduction if they're still working. Another common question is, will pensions I receive from work reduce my benefit amount? That's a rule that used to apply to certain types of work pensions, known as the Government Pension Offset, or GPO. Fortunately, the Social Security Fairness Act, enacted in 2025, eliminated this. So outside pensions will not reduce your benefit amount going forward. To keep it simple, only earned income will reduce your Social Security benefit amount prior to full retirement age. Earned income refers to income that's earned from working. So things like pensions, IRA distributions, and capital gains will not apply. So next, we're going to shift gears and look at some financial planning considerations. While working with clients, our team has come across all kinds of situations that warrant different actions. Let's talk through the following two scenarios. First, a situation where it makes sense to take survivorship benefits at 60 and delay your own retirement benefit. And second, a situation where it makes sense to delay survivorship benefits and start your own retirement benefit first. So for situation one, let's assume the following. You made more money than your spouse throughout your career. Therefore, you're entitled to a larger retirement benefit. If you're 60 years old and retired, what are your options for Social Security? At this point, you can begin collecting your survivor benefits, but you cannot start your own retirement benefit yet, since that becomes available at age 62. So should you start collecting the survivor benefit now or wait? The downside to starting it now is you'll receive a reduced amount because you're claiming it before the full retirement age. However, if your own retirement benefit is larger than the survivor benefit is, it makes sense to start the survivor benefit now. Why? Well, that's because this allows you to begin receiving Social Security income 2 years earlier than if you waited for your own retirement benefit. And while the survivor benefit is reduced, your own retirement benefit will continue to grow until you're ready to switch over to it, resulting in a higher monthly payment later. So that's a common example of starting survivor benefits at age 60. Now let's look at an example of starting your own retirement benefits early. For this next scenario, we'll assume the following. Your deceased spouse made more money than you throughout their career. Therefore, they're entitled to a larger retirement benefit. In this situation, in order to maximize Social Security, oftentimes the opposite approach is taken. For someone who specifically wants to delay Social Security to full retirement age to get a higher monthly amount, the best bet is to let your spouse's benefit continue to grow. This allows you to start your own Social Security at the earliest age of 62 and switch over to your spouse's higher survivorship benefit amount in the future. If you started your spouse's survivor benefits first, you're going to get a reduced amount from their full benefit. And in most cases, you wouldn't want to switch to your own benefit later because it's probably going to be lower than the survivorship benefit you're already receiving. Starting your benefit at 62 allows you to begin receiving Social Security at an early age while still allowing your survivor benefits to continue growing. While these rules are good in general, they should not be universally accepted. It's important you determine the best course of action based on your specific situation.